Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, whether you are a mother, grandmother, a great-grandmother. We want to honor you this morning. Some mother approach this day with contentment, fulfillment, and good memories. Some mothers approach this day with frustration, pain, and bad memories. I do not know where you are at this juncture this morning, but I truly believe the Holy Spirit will minister to every mother's heart that is represented here this morning. Mother's Day is a big deal. Why? Because it's a reminder for us to say thanks to our mothers and the motherly people in our lives. Today, my sermon is entitled, Honor Your Mother. Firstly, we will define what honor is. Secondly, we'll learn from Jesus' example in honoring our mothers. What does honor mean? Honor means to show great respect and to give great value. Someone gave this quotation about honor. Honor is a decision to treat your parents with respect and with courtesy. It is also a decision to provide care and seek their best interests. Ephesians 6 verses 1 to 3 says, Children, obey your parents because you belong to the Lord, for this is the right thing to do. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise. If you honor your father and mother, things will go well for you and you will have a long life on earth. There are two promises here. Things will go well with you and we will live a long life. That means if we treat our parents not well, things will not go well with us and we will shorten our life. Children who mistreat their parents and dishonor them will suffer consequences. Who wants to live long on this earth? Who wants to die as soon as possible? No hands raised up. Who wants to live long life with quality of life, not just quantity? We do, right? So this is a very important commandment because it is going to bless us. The responsibility to honor our mothers begins when we are a child and continues until the day we die. So today we are going to learn from Jesus, the best example, how he honored his mother Mary. Firstly, how did Jesus honor his mother when he was a child? There was only one story about Jesus as a child. That time, he was 12 years old. Jesus and his parents went to Jerusalem for the Passover feast. It was a yearly event. They usually walked in large groups and would take about 4 to 5 days. After the celebration was over, on the way home to Nazareth, Mary assumed that Jesus was with his father Joseph, and his father assumed that Jesus was with the mother. So they searched everywhere for Jesus, but could not find him. And Mary was panicking. Did someone kidnap my son? Is he injured? Is he lost? There were hundreds of people in Jerusalem, and some of them were not good people. So they went all the way back to Jerusalem, and thankfully, they found Jesus after 3 days. In Luke chapter 2, verses 6, 51 and 52, it says, they discovered him in the temple, sitting among the religious teachers, listening to them and asking questions. Then he returned to Nazareth with them and was obedient to them. Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature, in favor with God and with all people. According to this passage, he was obedient to his parents. Jesus knew he was gifted. Jesus knew he had a special calling beyond his parents' understanding. He matured physically, he matured socially, spiritually, and intellectually. So during Jesus' growing up years, Jesus was obedient to his parents. Firstly, how do you honor your mother? That is to obey and mature. Children, when you are young, you obey. Let me share with you some examples of obedience. When your mother says, you can only play computer games for 30 minutes, you don't stretch it to 1 hour. When your mother says, turn the music down, you turn it down without complaining because it may hurt your ears. When your mother says, please help me to set up the table for dinner, you help immediately. Don't say, wait ah. And when your mother says, you must bathe after you come home from school, you do it because you're very smelly. Don't wait until late at night. In fact, if you want to be really mature, you do the little things without being asked. What are the little things? You throw rubbish without being asked. You throw your dirty clothes, not on the floor. Where? Laundry basket. When you finish your meal, the meal don't stay on the table, the dishes. But the dishes need to be washed up without being asked. And when you are late, call your mother or text her to tell her where you are and what you are doing. You know, mothers tend to worry a lot. I know of a friend who asked her son to call me when you are late. I want to know that you are safe. So this is the mother's heart. So you honor your mother by making her not to worry and making her workload easier. I know teenage years are usually the most difficult period for a mother to endure. Am I right, mothers? Teenagers tend to question and challenge authority. They want to assert their independence. They think they know better than their mothers. Many find it difficult to obey their mothers. If you are mature enough to obey with grace and do the extra little things to help around the house, it will go well with you. So firstly, how do we honor our mothers? We follow the footsteps of Jesus when we honor our mothers by being obedient and being mature as a teenager. So secondly, how did Jesus honor his mother as he grew older? We don't know much about Jesus' life between 12 and 30 years old, except that he grew in wisdom and stature and favor with God and man. He went through the same transition that all of us do. Jesus lost his father sometime during his teenage years, so Mary was by herself. And Jesus knew what it was like to grieve and to be lonely. He remained as a carpenter until he was 30 years old. And the young man, Jesus, had to work hard to provide for his mother and his younger brothers. In John chapter 2, Jesus and his family went to attend a wedding in Canaan, and the host ran out of wine. So what happened? Jesus' mother told Jesus, they have no more wine. Then Jesus replied, dear woman, that's not our problem. My time has not yet come. But his mother told the servants, do whatever he tells you. This Mary, the mother, wanting to help her friend, went to Jesus. She wanted Jesus to help. But Jesus said, my time has not yet come. And the mother told the servants to do whatever Jesus wanted them to do, because she had the confidence that Jesus would take care of the embarrassing situation. Then Jesus turned the water into wine. It was his first miracle in response to his mother's request. So secondly, how do you honor your mother? Respect and compliance. Honoring begins with our attitude. We show respect to our mothers because she gave birth to us. She's the one who brought us into the world. You will never know what's like to carry someone for at least 9 months and what your mother went through when she gave birth to you, unless you become one yourself. When a woman finds that she's pregnant, there is joy. And soon, there's morning sickness. Then, there's more discomfort when the baby is growing in the womb itself. And then it becomes more and more comfortable because the baby is growing bigger and bigger. Then there's more pain when giving birth to the baby. I remember I was in labor for almost 12 hours, from 10 a.m. in the morning to 10 p.m. at night before my son finally came out. I remember it was such a stressful situation in the labor room with a pastor there also. So after becoming a mom myself, I was very grateful and appreciative to my mother. I went to tell her, I said, Mom, I thank you for giving birth to me. I realized how difficult it was for her to give birth to not only me, but to 4 children. So we are thankful to our parents, to my mother, because she gave birth to me. And the challenge does not end as a mother when the child is born. Why? Because the challenge has just started. As a mother, the challenge has just started because there is a constant challenge of nurturing the child. You know, nowadays it's not easy to nurture a child because there are a lot of kiasu people around. Okay, in KL, in a lot of places, there are a lot of kiasu parents around, especially mothers. The nurturing does not stop there. Okay, it only starts at the beginning when the child is born. And the nurturing is physically at the early stage. But later, when the children grow up, what do? They leave home, or they have their own careers, and then they have their own families. And then this nurturing becomes more challenging emotionally, not physically, all right? Let's show our mother the respect due to her because she gave birth to us. So just like Jesus, there will be times that you feel that your mother is interfering into your life. You have graduated with a degree, you establish your own family, yet your mother still tells you what to do. You have to look for another job. It's about time you have children. Are you eating out again? Why do you spend so much money here and there? You, as a young adult, may find your mother irritating, intruding, nagging, and etc., and etc. That happens not just when you are in your 20s. It will continue throughout your adult life. And someone wrote, no matter how old a mother is, she watches her middle-aged children for signs of improvement. Sometimes it's your mother's fault. She is very domineering. You have to be mature enough to ignore it and go on with your life. Sometimes it's your fault. You just need to establish your independence. Why? Because you may still act like a child around her. That's why she treats you like a child. Or you're so afraid of alienating her, you allow her to manipulate you. A friend of mine shared a testimony about her daughter. She's a prayerful woman. This daughter had a boyfriend. So after meeting up with the boyfriend, the mother felt that the man was not right for the daughter. So she advised the daughter, let him go. Of course, the mother was interfering, right? But she knew what she was talking about. She watched her daughter grow up. She nurtured her. She knew her in ways where no one else did. So what happened? The daughter respected her mother's wisdom and advice. She decided to end the relationship with her boyfriend. Then sometime later, the daughter met another man who became her spouse. And both of them became pastors. This is a testimony, right, that she shared with me. So have you heard of this saying before? Mother knows best. If you have a godly mother who refuses to quit on you, be grateful. It may be her prayers that spared you from bad decisions and from God's wrath. It may be her reminders that bring you back to God's will and save you for eternity. Maybe you need to listen to her before it is too late. Jesus turned the water into wine to help the host. He was also respectful of his mother's desire, even though she was a bit imposing. So secondly, how do we honor our mothers? We follow the footsteps of Jesus when we honor our mothers by being respectful and compliant as a young adult and during our adulthood. And thirdly, Jesus showed us how he honored his mother when she was completely wrong about Jesus. Mark chapter 3, verses 20 to 21 says, one time, Jesus entered a house and the crowds began to gather. Soon he and his disciples could not even find time to eat. When his family heard about what was happening, they tried to take him away. He's out of his mind, they said. What is happening here is that Jesus was getting more and more popular. And then rumors circulated that he was the Messiah. And everyone was buzzing about Jesus. But when his family heard about what was taking place, they were disturbed. Jesus' younger brothers did not believe that he was the Messiah until after he was risen from the dead. So sometimes it's hard for our family members and our friends to accept someone close to them to be extra special. Even Jesus' own brothers were offended by the inference that he was the Messiah. His brothers thought, hey, Jesus is only a normal person. He's a good guy, yes, but he's just a normal person. How can he be the Messiah? So they tried to take Jesus away because they thought he was out of his mind. So Mark 3:31-32 says, then Jesus' mother and brothers came to see Jesus. They stood outside and sent word for him to come out and to talk with them. There was a crowd sitting around Jesus, and someone said, your mother, your brothers are outside asking for you. So what did the brothers do? They brought the mother Mary along. They thought that with the mother along, wow, very kenga, can influence the son. So they persuaded Mary along. And Mary would have thought that Jesus' life was endangered. Because in her mind, she's thinking, oh, maybe Jesus is not taking care of himself. He doesn't have enough rest because so many people buzzing around him. He needs to come home, to take a break, to have a good meal. So how did Jesus respond to their wrong assumption? Mark 3:33-35 says, Jesus replied, who is my mother? Who are my brothers? Then he looked at those around him and said, look, these are my mother and brothers. Anyone who does God's will is my mother, sister, and brother. Did Jesus publicly humiliate his mother? Did he say, wait a minute, how did you get pregnant out of wedlock? Didn't you say an angel visited you? How many times did you whisper in my ear when I was growing up that I was chosen by God? How can you let me down like this? Did Jesus say all these things? No, he didn't. He was not angry. He was not irritated. How did Jesus respond? He just replied calmly, and he stood his ground. He affirmed that those who shared his convictions and goals were his closest relatives. Thirdly, how do we honor our mother? Patience and forgiveness. Be patient with your mother and forgive her when she is in the wrong. Every mother made mistakes in raising her children. All mothers have fallen short of our own children's expectation, and maybe even our own expectations. Right, mothers? I'm aware of my own inadequacies and shortcomings. There were many occasions I said to myself, I should not have said that. I should not have done that. So many times I have to swallow my pride and ask forgiveness from my son for what I've said and done to him. When we were young, we tend to idolize our mothers. We think that they are perfect. We think that they are the best. Then comes a day we discover, oh, she got flaws, a lot of flaws. They make unwise decisions. They have unrealistic expectations. They said and done things that left us deeply wounded. Because of that, many children enter adulthood controlled by anger and bitterness, and they find themselves unable to move past their mother's sin and mistakes. Someone said, there are 4 people you have difficulty forgiving. Who are they? Your mother, your father, yourself, and God. We will forgive strangers quicker than those closest to us, right? It's not easy to honor someone who has hurt us deeply. The natural tendency is to repay evil for evil and seek retribution. We may feel that by honoring your mother, you are excusing her behavior. But remember, no evil will escape God's eyes and go unpunished. Romans 12:19 says, dear friends, never take revenge. Leave that to the righteous anger of God. For the scriptures say, I will take revenge. I will pay them back, says the Lord. You need to honor your mother, not because you think she deserves it, but because God asked you to. And by doing so, you are honoring God by keeping his commandment. the 5th commandment. Maybe your mother does not share your spiritual values. She criticizes you. She says, why you go to church so regularly? Why you give away your money so much? Why you have to give every month? Maybe she criticizes you for the way you raise your children, for the way you treat your husband or your spouse, for staying with your spouse. She thinks you're out of your mind. Jesus set a positive example for how we should respond when our mothers assume us wrongly. Don't let your mother's wrong opinions prevent you from doing what is right. Be patient, be tolerant, be forgiving, knowing that the truth prevails in the end. That was what happened to Mary. Acts chapter 1 says that all met together. They all met together. They were constantly united in prayer along with Mary, the mother of Jesus, several other women, and the brothers of Jesus. Mary witnessed the resurrection of Jesus from the dead. She was there at the beginning of the early church. Her claims of a virgin birth, the promise from an angel, were now proven to be true. She had to wait 33 years, but she was vindicated. When Mary was wrong, what did Jesus do? Jesus was patient and forgiving. So thirdly, how do we honor our mothers? We follow the footsteps of Jesus when we honor our mothers by being patient and forgiving when she is in the wrong. Lastly, Jesus showed another way to honor his mother when he was at the cross to be crucified. John 19:26-27 says, when Jesus saw his mother standing there beside the disciple he loved, he said to her, "Dear woman, here is your son." And he said to his disciple, "Here is your mother." From then on, this disciple took her into his home. Now, Mary should be in her early 50s. She's living alone as a widow. At the foot of the cross, there were two people that Jesus loved the most, his mother and John. Jesus made provision for his mother to be cared for after he died. For some reason, his brothers and sisters were not able to take care of Mary. Maybe their homes were too small, maybe they have too many children, or maybe their income were too little to take care. We don't know. But John had the capability of caring for Mary and shared her spiritual faith. So Jesus entrusted to John the responsibility of caring for his mother after he was gone. Even to the end of his life, Jesus cared and provided for his mother. Lastly, how do you honor your mother? Care and provision. Part of honoring your mother is to ensure that she's provided for when she can take care of herself. Children have the obligation to honor their parents as they grow older. Leviticus 19:32 says, "Stand up in the presence of the elderly. Show respect for the aged. Fear your God. I am the Lord." This may mean seeing your parents' needs are met in case you die before they do, as Jesus did. This may mean pitching in the resources so your parents can live their final years in dignity. This may also mean showing tender, loving care when their health and mental faculties begin to fail. Consider what your mother might appreciate. She has physical and emotional needs. These are some examples of meeting her physical needs. Drive her or accompany her to see the doctor, help her to buy groceries or medication, help her to pay bills, pay some of the bills incurred in the house, provide for her financially, give her some pocket money. She may not need your money, but you still give to her. Or you bring your whole family together to show her you value family time. Last example, you take her out for holiday, jalan-jalan or makan-makan. Of course, not now, after MCO, and more often when the MCO is over. How about her emotional needs? What are they? It hurts a mother to feel that she's no longer needed. The enemy loves to whisper into the ears of mothers who move into their golden years. What did the enemy whisper? You are not necessary anymore. Your life is over. Nobody has time for you. You are a hindrance. You are an inconvenience to everybody. That's a lie. That's why you need to constantly talk to your mother. Especially now, the MCO is there. They cannot go out. They can go cuckoo. So you remind her how much she's still needed and valued. Ask her about her day. How is she doing? Communicate with her, even though she may repeat her stories again and again. She may be forgetful. Be patient with her. If you are no longer staying with your mother, call her on the phone to catch up, no matter how busy you are. Give her the assurance that you will not forsake her in her old days. If you are currently meeting your mother's physical needs and emotional needs, know this: the Lord is pleased with you. You are a great example to those around you, especially your children. Why? Because one day they may need to take care of you. Lastly, how do we honor our mothers? We follow the footsteps of Jesus when we honor our mothers by caring and providing for her when she is in need. In conclusion, we learn from Jesus several ways to honor our mothers. Number one, obey and mature when you are growing up in your younger days, especially when you are a teenager. Respect and compliance when you are a young adult and also in your adulthood. Patient and forgiving when your mother is in the wrong. Care and provision when your mother is in need. Mother's Day isn't the only time to show her your love and gratitude. Honor her every day. Honor is a lifetime attitude towards our mothers, regardless of our age, regardless of circumstances, regardless of the relationship that we have with our mother. God is pleased when we take practical steps to fulfill the fifth commandment, which is also found in Ephesians 6, which I mentioned earlier. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise. If you honor your father and your mother, things will go well for you, and you will live long life on earth. Did you notice that the word used here is honor, not love? When the Bible talks about children and parents, the basic command is to honor, not love. The command is not to love your father and your mother. The command is to honor your father and your mother. Do you know why? I was pondering about this. Why not love? I suppose God knew that it's not always possible to love our parents for one reason or another. That's why God said in the Bible, we are to honor our father and our mother. How we treat our parents, our mothers, matters to God. And I would like to end today with a poem entitled Blessed Mothers. Blessed are the mothers who love God, for their children should not be ignorant of their Creator and His plans concerning them. Blessed are the mothers who love the word of God, for their children shall know the way, the truth, and the life. Blessed are the mothers who love the house of God, for their children shall enter there and sit with them in the presence of God. Blessed are the mothers who love to pray, for their children shall feel the power of prayer, and many shall find salvation. Blessed are the mothers who love to give for the cause of Christ, for their children shall become supporters of the kingdom of God. Blessed are the mothers who love the family altar, for they shall have their reward in this world and in the world to come. Blessed are the mothers who love to speak kind words to their neighbors' children, for they shall win other boys and girls besides their own to Jesus Christ. Blessed are the mothers who love to be companions of their children, for they shall be called understanding mothers. Blessed are the mothers who love to fight life's battles bravely with a strong and steadfast faith in God, for their children shall know where to find strength in time of need. Blessed are the mothers when they are old and gray, can look back upon memory's wall with no regret and say, I brought my children up in the fear of the Lord. Theirs are the mansion in glory. Blessed mother. May God's blessings be upon all the mothers, grandmothers, and great grandmothers. Have a happy and blessed Mother's Day.